Men do need experience with women in order to be good with women. Women do not need experience with men in order to be good with men. And this is a double standard. When I was in the military and when I was working for a financial firm, if someone had gone to my boss and said, hey, just let you know, Michael had slept with X amount of girls, and it was like a high number of girls, and this guy's a huge player, my commander and my boss at the firm would not have blinked an eye or given it, and they probably would have come and laughed and asked me about it. If my female squadron commander, if it came back that she had slept with 15 dudes, I guarantee you she would end up probably losing her job. That is a double standard, and I'm telling you it is a double standard. I'm not saying it's not. What I'm saying is, like, women can embarrass men by cheating on us, but if we cheat on women, it's not the same thing. It's not as embarrassing. Bree, if your boyfriend cheated on you, the dudes would still line up to the left to go talk to Joe Rogan with tits. They wouldn't even flinch.
Yeah.
Nobody would think any less of you. In fact, if you stayed with a dude who cheated on you, they'd probably think even more of you. They'd be like, "Wow, this is a loyal ass girl." Right. But if we as men stay with a girl who cheats on us, we are derided and embarrassed and called all kinds of names. It's very different.
I remember my sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I remember my very first boyfriend that I lost my virginity to. He cheated on me with God knows how many girls, all my friends, just everyone, everyone inside. I don't know what was his deal, but he did that, and so I was like, oh, I'm gonna get back at him because this guy that he idolizes is in love with me. So I'm gonna him. So I did, and it did not work.
Good for you, dirty slut.
It was also the worst sex I've ever had, still to this day. But it wasn't worth it. But he was literally no. He was like, ew, you're like used goods now. It did not hurt him how I thought it would.
It's so ironic too.
Yeah, he was just like, no, you're no good anymore.
People in this chat right now are like, revenge sex. See, I knew it. I knew they did shit like
that was a one-time thing. Never again. I was like, it doesn't affect me.
If we've all done that.
Yeah, it's different.
You had revenge sex before?
His dad.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
He didn't have one.
Yeah.
That was probably the problem.
The difference is men are capable of non-contextual sex, and so because of that, then they're like, well, a porn star can still be attractive even if we don't want to be in a relationship with them. Right. But for a woman, not to say certainly you guys all know girls that don't need context for sex, but most women most of the time need some level of context for sex. Right. You said you went 5 years of being celibate. Yep. Most of the time you need some connection. Whereas men, it's like we can have sex that has connection and we can have sex that doesn't have connection in a fucking hot tub in Jamaica, and it doesn't make any difference to us. Does that make sense? And we also don't need counseling for it. Like if you're a man and you're like, hey, in order to get off this island, you have to fuck 17 women, and the dude did it, afterwards he's not going to counseling. Like he's just kind of like telling his friends like it was a cool story. He's not having flashbacks. It's really not that big of it. He may have wood later on. Like not a big deal. If a woman had to fuck 17 dudes to get off of a island, it would be traumatic. It would probably destroy.
It depends on the woman.
No. Again, I'm not saying that there aren't women. I'm not saying there aren't women outside of. I'm not saying there aren't women outside of 2 standard deviations that would probably be okay with that. Most women would have a serious problem with that.
Yeah,
okay, so we're different. My point is we're different. Does that make sense? This is a really big thing. It's like I'm not very famous, and Rolo is not very famous because we don't take huge L's. Like people think we take little teeny L's. Like if we took bigger L's, if we somebody fucking horribly humiliated us, we'd have 1 million followers. Like look at Neon. What a great example. Like Neon contributes nothing except taking L's, and the guy literally is 100x more famous than us. So the reason why as a man a lot of times I don't want to do that is because you think about the thing with Dan Bilzerian and the guy from bodybuilder.com. Do you guys remember that? The guy from bodybuilder.com was talking shit, so Dan Bilzerian fucked his girl and took a picture of it, and then in the caption, because you see the flip-flops, he goes, I fucked your in some Gucci flip-flops, right?
That's crazy.
He did that. And the dude just wore the fucking fattest L of all time because of that.
Yeah, and that's fine. But it is an insecurity. Like, it's not an insecurity, but you're describing an insecurity.
Let's grow food on our yards. Let's hire our neighbors.
That's my bad. I just wanted to look and see something. I want to see how many subs you have.
Comments right now.
Go ahead.
But no, I feel like, and again, I get what you're saying. Like, I wouldn't want to date like an athlete because I wouldn't want to have to hear about like all the escapades.
But it still would. But while it may embarrass you personally, it's not going to hurt you professionally, and it's not going to hurt your dating life.
Well, what if it went public though?
Even if it went public,
it's another double standard.
Again, it is a massive double standard in favor of women. If you guys get cheated on, people don't go after you.
You're a martyr, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. If you're the good woman who stay by, again, look at Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton after the Monica Lewinsky scandal. Hillary was lauded as a saint for standing by her man. When women stay by men who cheat, they are looked at.
It also depends on the audience as well. You know, like and the demographic of people. Like, I've seen some comments of, you know, not to name drop, like influencers who will take back their cheating boyfriends multiple times. And you'll look at the comments just like, bitch, you're so dumb. You're this, you're that. Not understanding or being in the women's shoes, because it is very hard, not especially if you've been with someone. But also it depends on the audience.
I think sometimes that happens and nothing happened to Beyonce. Nothing. Beyonce is who Beyonce is, and Jay-Z still cheated on her. Still cheated on her. Beyonce got cheated on, but like at the same time, look at what happened when Jeff Bezos, the girl he's engaged to? What's her name?
Oh, Dirty Sanchez. Lauren Sanchez.
Yeah. And she's sitting there when she got, guys, remember, richest man in the world, and one of the richest men in the world, and his girlfriend is staring up at Leonardo DiCaprio, like at least from the photo, looking like she would go home with him in 2 seconds.
Oh, wow.
So it doesn't matter how much money he has. When what happened with Beyonce didn't embarrass her. What happened to Jeff Bezos did embarrass him. That's the point I'm trying to make. There's a double standard. You guys are judged more harshly if you sleep with a bunch more people, but if you cheat on us, we're fucking humiliated. Does that make sense? Yeah. And it is just not the same.
Let me drop some hard numbers here really quickly, because it's more to your point right now. Okay,
there's a huge double standard. Men do need experience with women in order to be good with women. Women do not need experience with men in order to be good with men. There's a massive. It's
I'm gonna have to disagree on that.
It's not true. Women do not. Women can listen to what other people in their life say, third party, and be like, "Hey, this guy's not good for you," or "He is good for you." But women do not. Your physical attractiveness can keep a man in a relationship. You don't need experience for that. Men need experience in order to be able to navigate through, especially sophisticated women. Women do not need experience in order to navigate through sophisticated men. But if they do, like my female friends, they'll hit me up and be like, "Hey, Michael, I'm seeing this guy," and they'll say, "Hey, can you look him up?" And I'll look him up, and I was like, "Oh, I see the word NFT here and crypto. Oh, the word entrepreneurs on here. Oh, it looks like he has a course. And let me look up some review. Looks like he ripped some dudes off." I was like, "Oh yeah, sounds like he's great in bed. Go have fun."
Oh,
no, but it's like that's the thing that'll happen. You should have a guy friend or female friend that's going to look up and kind of be the FBI for you and be able to say, "Hey, this is a good idea. Or this is a bad idea." But because women often your attraction triggers or your attraction triggers for men or your physical attractiveness, you don't need experience to be hot. We do as men. That's the difference. Do you guys understand why there's like kind of a double standard there?
So
I agree.
hot as in like, we're not just talking physical. We're talking like your energy.
So Armani, while the man you're going to marry and have kids with is going to love you for several different reasons, the first reason is because you're hot.
Okay.
The first reason he's going to notice you is because you're hot. And
Yeah,
for
but
the
can't that
and for
go
the
off the rails for
Initially.
women too? Like if all of a sudden, like you were like an ugly duckling and now you're hot. If you're not careful with that
Agreed.
energy.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. And so have a friend. So I tell guys this all the time. Tell me if you ladies agree with this. I think every dude needs a female friend who's a huge, one huge slut friend who shows them the text messages of the 9 guys she's sent the same nude to. One who just like, but you're not sleeping with the girl, but she's just a huge.
That's nasty.
I think you guys all need a guy friend who's also a huge slut that you're not sleeping with, and you can get the game. Like if you guys ever see Brandy Andrews and fucking Mickey Mace, that's a perfect example. Mickey Mace been with like thousands of women and never been with Brandy Andrews, and Brandy can see shit because she has a guy like that who's super good. What I'm saying is her being good at dating does not require more penises to go inside of her. She doesn't need that. Women do not need more experience sexually with men to get better at dating. Men do. That's the difference. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say more to your point though is if you have a girlfriend or if you know a girl who's like was fat. And then she gets into the gym and she drops pounds and she starts looking good. And she starts looking good. Like she goes from like being overweight to being like, she's kind of good looking now.
We stay humble.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
do. I agree.
We do. Because
Yeah.
I was an ex-fatty. I stay humble.
Yeah, I definitely in high school I wasn't ugly, but at least I don't think so. But I did, people were really mean. I don't know if it's just because, whatever, they were haters. But yeah, I wasn't the best looking, and I did have like a glow up after high school, and I did start getting treated very differently. It was crazy.
Yeah. So guys go through something very different. Like, I mean, similar in that case.
Yeah, as soon as they get money.
Well, exactly. So there's money. Well, you got to remember, it's money, muscles, and game. So if you gross out in any of those, you go from being like fat to being like your bodybuilder ripped. And suddenly women start treating you different because you look good, and they're giving you this sort of positive feedback all the time. So you get into this feedback loop where you don't know what to do with it because your mentality is still fat kid, right? And you're not like in shape guy. Yeah.
So it kind of gives them like a little ego boost too. It's like, oh, I'm the You know?
Well, still have a federal mentality
but it also
sometimes,
goes it also goes back to the too much, too young, too fast.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's a concept where it's like, you got a guy who's like 19, 20-year-old kid who gets drafted in the NFL or whatever, and suddenly he goes from $0 to making, I don't know, a $10 million contract. He doesn't know what to do with it. It's this very similar situation.
Yeah, he does not have the requisite skill set to tell what the difference is. That's why when he makes that money when he's 30 or 40, he's better off at being able to tell what to do.
Or having good people to help him out.
Whereas with women, just objectively, the most right swipes women get on dating apps are between the ages of 23 and 25. So on that case, like your value or your $1 million, you got it at 23, and we get our million. We have to earn our $1 million at 40. Does that make sense? You see why that's different? So that's why I'm saying that whole situation is different.